then it worked its way back around behind me, in the bush behind me, and circled around and came in from the left.
Okay, so we got everything?
I think so.
You got extra arrows?
I brought a dozen.
You bring an extra hat?
I brought 2 hats.
Good move.
One that you can shoot at and one that's off limits.
Remember, the one you're wearing is the one that gets shot
You'll
at.
never know which one I'm wearing. I'll never film myself wearing a hat.
This turkey hunting, it took me a while to get into it. Now that I'm doing it, I'm enjoying it. John and I have that competition that goes on every year. Now it's mano a mano.
There's this $5 bet that we have every year on biggest bird.
John has shot more turkeys than I have over the years. He's been doing it a lot longer than I have. But ever since I've started, we looked at that $5 bill and we're tied. So if domination means 5-5, I guess he's dominated. Realistically, no.
It's shortly after 5 here today, getting out a little earlier this morning, and maybe check out a couple of spots and see what we can hear.
The scouting part of it, I do evening and mornings. I find the birds are more vocal in the morning than they are in the evening because they're on the roost in the morning and they're getting ready to fly down, and that's all you're hoping for. As soon as you hear, where that bird has roosted, he's going to be there the next morning because he does not go anywhere else. He's flown up into that tree and he's there for the night.
This is about a week and a half before our opening day, and like I mentioned before, I like to get out and do a little bit of pre-season scouting, just see where these birds roost or want to roost. And this being one of our new spots that I've never hunted before, it's totally new territory, so thought we'd get in here this morning and just have a listen and see where they're actually roosting.
Getting out and doing the scouting is probably, in my books, number one.
John likes to think he's #1 turkey hunter in our group, and I think the reason behind it is he's striving so hard to be like me. He wants to elevate to the status of a hunter that Rick Marchand has become, and he can't do it. So anytime he can get a little edge with the turkey hunt, he's running with it. I still think he's fighting a losing battle, but you have to have some kind of goal in your life.
Rick, he has a few spots that he likes to go to, and he doesn't get out as much as I do, I guess, doing the scouting part of it, or maybe he does and he doesn't let on that he does, but so we each kind of have our own little area, and I tell him to stay the heck out of my spot.
So we're just gonna have to do a little bit of scouting prior to opening day, whether we go back in here or pick one of the other spots. It's always good to have a bunch of spots because there's certain individuals that hunt in our group that don't seem to be able to get out to do any scouting, so it's kind of left up to the old fella here to get all the hot spots nailed down. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, Rick?
If I've got a bird that's reasonably large and has got a chance of winning, top prize, I really don't want him sneaking in there and trying to shoot it out from underneath me.
He has the upper hand because of his work. He can get out and scout in the morning and actually hunt in the morning, and that's the prime time to do it. I can only go out and hunt in the evening, and it's an awful lot harder. The birds aren't as responsive. So for me to be even with them on this bet is a testament either on how poor John is or how great I am. This segment brought to you by Lake Huron Chrysler. The tip of the week is brought to you by The Bear Essentials, your wilderness experience guides.
Hi everyone, I'm going to share a little tip with you this week as far as turkey hunting and using a blind and decoys. I've had a lot of success with this typical setup, either using just the strutting jake or the combination of the jake and the submissive hen, and then the blind, of course. You'll notice that I'm about 2 yards from the front of my blind. Blind doesn't seem to bother the turkeys at all, as long as they don't see any movement. And I always set my blind up so that the sun is always coming in the back end of the blind, facing any birds that are coming in, so they're actually looking into the sun. Dress in black balaclava. Mostly have the screen down. It's a shoot-through screen. The odd time I don't, but in most cases I do. And set up like this brings success. That's your Just Us Hunting tip of the week.
This year's turkey hunt was the same as many others. I have a group of people coming up to stay in our cabin, and we have a fairly vast amount of property, so lots of opportunities there. Unlike John, I have virtually no time for scouting. I just go out blind. This particular day, it's pouring rain, it's nasty, it's cold, and there's no birds doing anything. But I'm always hopeful because there's good visibility there. If something sees my decoy, it can come from a long distance. It's always been a corridor where turkeys travel between two bushes. And it's always been a winner. It's a place I can hide the blind. If turkey sees the decoy, he generally comes over and checks it out. And I'm calling the whole time. Sometimes it's effective, sometimes it's not, but this day something worked because he was there. Basically, I'm sitting there, no sound. All of a sudden there's a turkey standing at my decoy. I made a nice shot. I practiced hard, made a great shot, and he went down on the spot. Oh, that was pretty exciting. That guy never gobbled or anything. I never heard a sound. All of a sudden, he comes running into my decoy. I was at full draw for the longest time, and he was on the far side there. I got my heavy limbs on, but I managed to hold on, got a great shot. That happened so fast. I've been sitting here for 2 hours not hearing a sound, not seeing anything. All of a sudden, we're good. Well, there we go, about a 7-inch beard. Right through the wing butt. Oh, he's heavy. Ran it today, so it's a bit scruffy, but nice bird.
McQuaid kind of looks out for me. I think he's definitely a little cheerleader on my end of the court, and from deer hunting to bear hunting and turkey hunting. When we lived in Timmins, we used to go to his place, and he would always try and set me up where he thought the deer were going to be. I never saw anything, I never shot anything. And then when I got into the turkey hunting side of things, he was still kind of like that mentor that wanted me to win. And I had a couple close calls, as always, but I had never actually shot anything. So he was over one night, maybe some drinks were had, and the executive decision was made that he was going to take me out hunting to this hot spot.
Eric and I had planned this hunt for some time. She'd been hunting near Goderich without a lot of success. So I said, I know a spot. We will be there early because they'll be roosted close by.
I set my alarm for 3:45. So I'd get up. I always make coffee. That's my job. I make coffee for everyone in the morning. And I remember getting up, like stumbling around in the dark, and then these headlights roll down the driveway. And I remember looking at the clock being like, holy crap, he's really early. Good thing I'm up. So I like threw my clothes on. McQuaid comes bombing in like Seabiscuit into the front door. He's like, we gotta go. The sun's coming up. We're late. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like grabbing my stuff, like still kind of half asleep, haven't had a coffee yet. He's like, those guys they're gonna miss their hunt. Those guys are screwing up. Like they're not gonna see anything. They're not gonna shoot anything. We gotta go. Okay, so I like jump in his truck. We're driving, and I remember looking out the window being like, are those stars? Like, where's the sun coming up? Like, I was so confused.
We were there early, like maybe a little too early. It's hard to get the daylight time just right when you're not up that time every day. And we walked in, and just by chance, when it came daylight, we had walked right under the turkeys. They were virtually above the blind.
We walk in, and we get all set up in the dark, and McQuaid's like, I think we're a little early. Yeah, we walked in, and the moon was so bright that there was shadows on the ground, and he thought that was the sun coming up. So we're set up, it's like 4:30 in the morning. We shouldn't have even left camp yet.
This segment brought to you by APA Bows. This one-time memory is brought to you by Lake Huron Chrysler, bringing the fun back into buying a vehicle.
I remember this one time we were turkey hunting in the rain, bloody Tuesday morning with an east wind. My buddy Ryan ended up passing on a small jake. Ended up coming to this hayfield, and there's a tom and a jake out there with a couple hens strutting around. So we ended up leaving our buddy Fally behind calling with the decoys and tried sneaking up the ravine. As we did so, it got a little shallower. We had to crawl up the ravine, and when I got to sit down on my turkey vest pad there, it ended up spooking the jake, and he was staring right at me. So I took him at 32 yards through all the brush, and I'll never forget that hunt.
This was one of my first times hunting not with like a family member, like my dad or my mom or my sister. And so I'm trying to be like the hunter, you know. And McQuaid had a nap. He did a couple calls and he's like, yeah, we're good.
My turkey guide did a little clucking on his call, and then all of the hens just started going bananas.
Right beside us.
And it was around like 7:30. McQuaid just pops awake and he's like, there's a turkey. How the hell he heard it? He was sleeping, I have no idea. And there was this huge mature tom, and he was bumping this decoy, and I was just sitting there.
Erica, get your bow. They're right here.
Shoot that damn thing. Like, he's like freaking out. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I draw back my bow. I've got this turkey in my sights. I'm like, turkey hunting's so easy. God, I'm gonna shoot this thing. The whole tent explodes, okay? The turkeys take off running. They're gobbling everywhere. McQuaid's like, "Arr, arr, arr, arr." He's trying to call them back like desperado. I'm laughing because I have no idea what the hell happened.
Something went terribly wrong because parts of the arrow went around the inside of the blind twice. Half went out, parts went around. Turned out she'd hit the stake in the blind, which was in an angle. You're putting your sights out the window, they're clear, but your arrow's 3 inches below your sights. The tent peg is on an angle. It could happen to anybody, but it was unfortunate because I was pretty hopeful she'd get her first bird that day.
The birds take off. I'm laughing. I think McQuaid was crying a little bit. And he just turned and looked at me. He's like, I'm so upset for you. I am so upset for you. I can't believe that happened. And I'm laughing.
Everything went really good until the arrow hit the side of the window. But I am disappointed for her. I'm okay for myself, but it's got to be hard for her.
And then I kind of started crying a little on the inside because everyone had to shoot my hat when I got back to camp. Is it bad? No. I don't feel like it's
It's all on the side, actually. Right here.
my vampire bites.
There.
But then I was laughing again because it was my dad's hat.
She was disappointed. I was disappointed. But
The turkey was
the
thrilled.
turkeys were thrilled. They're gone. Live another day.
Well, we've pretty much got our spot picked out, I think. We've got 3 locations that we could actually go to, so it's just a matter of loading up the gear and getting everything ready to go for tomorrow morning. Maybe take a few more practice shots, but I feel good. I think we've done our due diligence for this spring as far as the scouting goes. So hopefully it'll pay off.
We do a lot of practicing early on in the season. Like prior to the season, we do a bunch of indoor shooting, and then of course we do our backyard practicing, shooting out of a blind. We'll set the blind up in the backyard and shoot at our 3D target.
Well, that's pretty much where you want to be. Right on top of the hips, bottom of the vitals. This bird's going nowhere. Remember, get out there, do your preseason scouting, do your preseason backyard practicing, and you'll be successful. Have a good hunt.
Closed captioning brought to you by The Archery Place. Vehicle graphics supplied by Artec. The Hunter Profile is brought to you by APA. We are not the same.
I've been hunting for numerous years, since I was a kid with my brothers. We started up north in Sudbury north of Sudbury. My weapon of choice has been, right now, is a recurve bow and longbow. I started with all named weapons, rifles, long guns. I've successfully hunted whitetail, turkey, all small game, migratory birds. I enjoy whitetail the most. In my off season, I get ready by, I like to work out with weights, and I love to go out to traditional shoots with my friends and 3D shoots, and we have a blast just throwing arrows, spitting out arrows, whatever way we can. My dream hunt would be to hunt grizzly. I've always desired to go out and hunt grizzly, and that would be with a recurve bow. I'm Bill Majowski, and that's my profile.
Well, this is it, opening day. We got our gear together last night and all ready to go in the truck. We've got at least a couple birds roosted last night, and this is it, do or die.
The mornings are by far the best because you're catching the bird when he's just coming off his roost, and you know, the first thing that's on his mind is finding his girlfriend and, you know, doing their thing. So later on in the afternoon can be successful, but usually the mornings are the best. That's what happened this time. I got out the first thing in the morning and got set up and had actually, there were 2 birds on the roost that morning, and the one came in. It started in, it flew down off the roost and started in across the field, and I just happened to notice it when it was cresting the hill.
Well, there is 2 birds, and the pair of them decided to take a beeline into this hardwood bush beside me here. It's kind of a hilly spot in there, so it's tough to hear them in there. We'll just wait her out. Didn't look like there was any hens at all with them that I could see. So. Anyway, we're going to play the waiting game here. We're going to play tough to get.
And then it worked its way back around behind me, in the bush behind me, and circled around and came in from the left, but came right in. It only went maybe 10, 12 yards after I shot it. Yeah. So it was textbook, just came right in boom, game over.
Well, this is a fitting start to another turkey season, opening day, and we managed to connect on this decent Jake here. He's got about I'd say a good 4.5 inch beard, and just little knobbies. But he was definitely the dominant of the two Jakes that came in this morning. Both these guys were gobbling on the roost. Noticed that his buddy didn't want to leave for quite a while. But anyway, we made a great shot on him. Only went about 12 yards, easy tracking job. Connected with the longbow again. I've used the longbow now for about 3 seasons, I guess now, for the longbow. And a great way to take a real classic bird.
First bird comes in, that's the bird you target. And then after that, it gets real serious. That's when you got to bear down and try and get something a little bit bigger, if you really need that $5.
Just Us Hunting would like to thank these great sponsors. Rescue 7, AEDs saves lives. Cold Fire Canada. Our mission, everyone gets home safe. Dynablast, industrial hot and cold pressure washers. APA Bows, choose your venom. The Archery Place, offering you a wide range of archery products and services. Lake Huron Chrysler, bringing the fun back into buying a vehicle. Arctex Signs and Graphics. Howitzer Arrows, be the difference. The Bear Essentials, your wilderness experience guides.
If you have videos of your hunts and you'd like to see them on this show, go to our website, justushunting.com, and email us directly. Who knows, maybe you'll see your hunts right here on Just Us Hunting.
Getting rough, and I stop believing I'm not tough enough